What concerns me is the thought of someone hurting you. When do you plan to release the documentary? Sometime next year? Is there any way that you can speed up the process? I know that the plan was to get it out into the public sometime next year, but it would be more beneficial to get it out before the end of the year, and I need your help to do it. Quinlan, it's a go, Ben. Elvira's documentary is greenlit for an early release. Hello, Dr. Burke. Finnegan, this call better have something to do with a crime being committed. It's about a crime, but not a recent one. Did you know that Elvira's documentary was released? I don't live under a rock, so yes, I'm aware. I'm also aware that Elvira's diary was mentioned. I can guess what you're thinking about. You read minds now? I'm not Psychic Wanda, but I've known you long enough to know your thoughts at times. I can't believe that the documentary is released either, and that it mentioned that Elvira's diary is out there somewhere. I believe congratulations are in order. Thanks. Why do I feel like that response was pretty bland? Since I revealed to the world that Elvira's diary had gone missing, I'm just hoping that I don't share the same fate as her. Mrs. Dorval, how may I help you today? I wanted to know if you are able to do me a favor. It depends on what the favor is. This past year, my family was really blessed. There have been good times and bad times. Okay? I plan to bring toys for the children in the hospital. That's very generous. I also wanted to know if I would be able to share the Christmas story with them on Christmas Eve. And now that there's knowledge of Elvira's diary going missing, there's this huge media uproar. On top of that, there's an uproar on social media. All of this pressures the department to locate the diary. But we both know exactly where the diary is. We don't know exactly where the diary is, but we know exactly who is in possession of it and what's included in the diary. If that diary gets in possession of the police department, then both of our careers are ruined. We just found a resolution out of the AI mess. We're already doing our best to keep Yvette out of the public eye after what Max Russo did to her. I don't need the pressure of the media trying to reach out to us after you appeared on the documentary. Are you not happy that there's a chance that Elvira's diary could finally be located? Her diary was supposed to remain private in the first place. Without Elvira's permission, people are out there trying to find it and look into my best friend's private thoughts and feelings. This is all because of her nephew Ben. Wanda, Elvira is no longer alive. She can't get mad if people look into her diary, especially when it's the only piece of evidence which could finally close her case. No one is gonna come after you, Quinlan. I'll make sure of it. Besides, if someone came after you after the release of the documentary, it would be a huge risk since this documentary is must-see TV. I know that you were really young when you lost Elvira, but her passing was huge news back then. I'm aware, and you were really young back then too. What I'm trying to say is that the person who took Elvira's life should have known how much of a risk it was to do it. She was an heiress in one of the wealthiest towns in America. Stop worrying. Things are a bit sophisticated now more than they were back in the early 2000s. Social media was in its infancy then. You're gonna be fine. But since we're on the subject of public things, I wanted to ask you something. What is it, Ben? I'm the one who presented the idea of releasing the documentary early and mentioning the diary for your safety. Since you're untouchable, I just wanted to let you know that it's safe to be with you in public now. Like telling the kids about Santa Claus? No, the true story of Christmas, Jesus' birth and why he came into the world? Sorry, Shelley, but I can't allow it. Come on, Dr. Burke. It's not like it would be mandatory for the kids to hear the Christmas story. It's for those who are interested. No one wants to be here on the holiday, especially those kids and their families. I understand that the gospel is offensive to certain people, but there are others who are searching for hope in this time of the year. And you would like to offer them false hope? You might as well tell them about Santa Claus if you're gonna tell them about some mystical supreme being. That's why I can't share the Christmas story, because of your unbelief? Shelley, I run a hospital, not a church. Don't see this as me trying to persecute you or anything like that. You have a church of your own where you can worship freely. All I ask is that you don't disrupt how I run my hospital. I can't believe this. After everything you've done to my family, you still won't grant this favor. Why would Ben release a diary in the first place? If it showed who took Elvira's life, then he would have released it a month ago. Or he could still use that diary to put together the pieces and solve Elvira's case on his own. You and I don't know what else was written in that diary other than what Elvira wrote about us. After he gets the answers he's been looking for, Ben could still release the diary if he feels like it. If you don't want that to happen, I suggest you beg him to hand the diary over. Elvira's case has been unsolved for 20 years. We need to focus on what's going on right now. Right now, our daughter needs to get justice for what happened to her. I am focused on getting justice for Yvette, but why does it feel like you're trying to shut down this conversation about Elvira's diary? Like you just said, Udell, sadly Elvira is no longer with us. She hasn't been with us for a long time. I don't have time to discuss and wonder about something that took place 20 years ago. Do you really want to give our daughter 100% of your focus, or are you just uncomfortable discussing the documentary and the diary? Yeah, you're right. Wow. I thought you would be over the moon, Quinlan. Ben, I would love to show the whole world that someone like you cares about me a lot. My only concern is that people will question my professionalism. The documentary of Elvira is getting a lot of attention, and I don't want people raising eyebrows when I'm all of a sudden dating her nephew. People are gonna talk anyways. Why not just get it out of the way? What have I ever done to your family? What about what you've done to my family? You and your husband didn't even give my son a reason as to why he can no longer hang out with your son at your house. I don't have an issue with your son, but he is a child. All I can explain to you as an adult is that my family was dealing with a lawsuit. Isidore Russo accused my husband of beating him up when Isidore and the person who actually battered him just allowed my husband to take the fall. If I'm not allowed to read the Christmas story here, then fine. By God's grace, I'll find another way to bring hope to others this holiday season. You don't know me as well as you think, Finnegan. No matter how awful my life gets, I will never beg, especially to my child. Then if it's exposed that you and I had an affair, then it will all fall on your shoulders, Heidi. How could you ask me something like that? How many times do I have to remind you how much I loved Elvira? All I'm gonna tell you is that tracking down the diary and hoping that it could solve her case won't ever bring her back. Is going public something that you really want, Ben? For the past 20 years, I've been in a very dark place. I would really like to enter the new year on a positive note. How can I argue that? Okay, Ben, we can take this thing of ours and make it public. 2024 is looking good already.